The Make Do Review Halloween Spooktacular.
Me here at last on the ground, and you in midair, sending the clowns.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Make Do Review. My name is Jack.
My name is Emily.
And on today's episode of the Make Do Review, we are reviewing
Joker.
Baby?
Not the Joker. Joker.
You could sound a lot more enthusiastic.
Joker. Directed by...
Right, okay. How are you today, Emily?
I'm really good actually. Today's been a lovely day. It's been a good week. It's been productive. I feel like we both have been feeling that.
Definitely.
We've been productive.
Emily got her first part in her first short film outside of uni.
Yeah, I did. And it's gone well. The filming will resume later this year / beginning of next year. But it's been so good so far. And yeah, it's going to be weird going back to normal muggle work. We carved pumpkins today. I don't know if you saw on our Instagram.
Yes. If you want to keep up to date, please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at the Make Do Review. And you will get to see our amazing work on the amazing pumpkins that we carved.
Please go and appreciate the hard work.
Send the love, please. Send the love.
Which reminds me.
What?
I want to keep roasting my pumpkin seeds in the oven.
This sounds weird.
No waste,
What does
y'all.
that mean?
No waste. Well, I forgot to put the oven on is what I'm saying. They're still in there.
It sounds wrong, though. I want to finish roasting my pumpkin seeds. Anyway, back to the episode. Today we are reviewing Joker. Released on the 4th of October with a runtime of 2 hours and 2 minutes. Directed and written by Todd Phillips. With a cast of Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck, Robert De Niro as Murray Franklin, Zazie Beetz as Sophie Drummond, Frances Conroy as Penny Fleck. Emily, what did you think of the film?
I absolutely loved the film. It's one of those films. I mean, I have seen quite a lot of the Marvel films now, and not Marvel.
DC,
DC.
Emily.
Oh my God,
DC.
I haven't seen...
God, right. Start again. Podcast is over. All the DC fan boys and girls are going to go crazy. They're going crazy right now.
Apologies.
DC.
What I'm trying to say is...
But not the DCEU.
As you can probably tell, I'm not the most, up to date and aware of everything that goes on. I watch all these films and I enjoy them, and you show them to me and stuff. But I could really appreciate this film without knowing all the other
You don't have to at
bits.
all.
You don't yeah, I didn't feel like I was missing. I mean, I've seen bits of Gotham with you and stuff like that. So there's little things that
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I know about this thing. But yeah.
That's a really good point because it's definitely a film that anyone can watch.
Yeah, that's the point I was trying to make, and hopefully I made that with that terrible mistake that I made.
No, I got you. I got it.
But yeah, so I really enjoyed it, and I thought the story. A lot of films sometimes nowadays I feel like they don't really have a story anymore. They just have, it's like a bit fancy. It's all show and not a lot of meat. Whereas this had so much to it, and I loved that.
All sizzle, no steak.
Yeah, whereas this film had the steak, had the vegetarian steak, which I enjoyed. So, moving on. What about you?
I agree. Absolutely. I was so scared going into this film in case it was just like so blown out of proportion that it's just so overhyped, and it's people are just excited because it's a Joker film, and it's not actually a good film. Train.
Yeah, train going past.
But that is completely wrong. This film, it's my favorite film of the year, probably.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. It's going back to like Marvel. Those films have a formula now. They're made like they make like 3 films a year or whatever, and they have a structure. They have like guidelines, They have like backstories and everything's all planned out. Like things that for every film. No film is like standalone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all connected. This is the first. So what I like about this film, and it's kind of like the Dark Knight trilogy. Those were like standalone films, and they're like it's just like a perfect trilogy. And this is its own thing once again, and it's perfect. And it just shows if you let a writer or a director, especially directors, do what they want to do and put their own work into it, it always turns out like fantastic.
Mm.
Honestly, I can talk about this film all night. All I want to do is sing its praises. It was just watching someone descend into madness is always interesting to me.
But I have to say, obviously, there's been like films in the past where they've tried to show this or like an evil character, and they just missed the mark. Whereas this was so
because there was no
believable.
hero.
Yeah.
The hero is Joker in this film.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, because he gets like the city of Gotham. Anyway, we'll get into
But
we'll get into the
what I was saying
plot
was
later.
he was on the whole thing about descent into madness. It's so realistic.
Yes.
And I think that's what makes it so great is because it doesn't feel like you're watching something being forced, an evil person being forced to be born.
It's real,
as it were.
Yeah.
Like it feels like the backstory to someone who's committed a crime that you read in like the news or something. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Which I thought was really well done. Choking on leftover popcorn. But I agree with you.
Yeah. I think we're straight into spoilers. Yeah. This is your spoiler warning. Please see the film. We to be fair, probably everyone has seen it. We are really late to this film.
Oh yeah.
When it came out, we were on holiday.
We were gonna watch it, and then we realised that the cinema was only showing it in Spanish.
Yeah.
So we passed.
So a bit annoying, but we had to see it. But we did have to put it on hold for a while until we got our lives back in order when we got back from our holidays. Anyway, this is your spoiler warning. If you have not seen the film, or if you don't care, if you want to listen to our opinions before you see it, then thank you. First of all, do you know much about the Joker, Emily?
Well, when I was a kid, we used to watch the really old Batman and Robin films.
Yeah.
So I wish I'd
the Adam West ones.
Yeah, I wish I had remembered to write some notes about that. So that's kind of the whole, like with Penguin and stuff like that. That's the whole Joker and Batman story and stuff that I kind of remember. I don't even remember that much because I just had a crush on Robin, so I was paying more attention to Robin. So my answer to this
Robin?
question is not really.
So not really.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Sorry. I think you had more
I was just giving a little story, like.
Anyway, for me at least, I absolutely love Batman, and the Joker is my all-time favorite villain. My favorite superhero is Spider-Man, but when it comes to like villains, it's got to be the Joker. I grew up watching the anime. There was an animated series called Batman the Animated Series, and it was Mark Hamill that did the voice of him, who's Luke Skywalker in Star Wars. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yep. I also played the games, like the Arkham games, and Mark Hamill did the voice in that, and the original voice actor for Batman did that as well. So it's amazing, and obviously, you've seen The Dark Knight, haven't you?
Yes, we watched that together, and we watched some of Gotham when I was in
We
the
watched
room.
some of Gotham. That's quite a new series. So if I'm not wrong, Heath Ledger's Joker is the first cinematic Joker, like that we've seen in a film.
Yeah.
If I might be wrong, but I feel like that might be true. Oh no, Jack Nicholson. I'm so sorry. So there's been many different Jokers, and the ones I remember fondly are Mark Hamill, who did the voice. Then you got Jack Nicholson, who did it with in the Tim Burton Batman films. And then we got Heath Ledger, which is considered to be the all-time greatest Joker performance, because it was so different. And then we got Jared Leto, who was fucking shit.
Let's hope you never work with him, because you've just slated.
No, I'm only joking. Or am
Joker.
I'm the Joker, baby.
I've not seen
the Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, yeah.
Don't.
God.
And now we have Joaquin Phoenix. And from what I remember, as soon as he was announced that he was going to be the Joker, just everyone agreed. Like, that is the most perfect casting. I haven't seen anyone doubt, like, before this movie came out, there was no doubts that he wasn't going to crush it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I've grown up to love the character and know the character, and now this is a fresh take. It's a new backstory with kind of similar elements to like different stories that are already out there. But the most common one is that the Joker falls in a vat of acid.
Okay.
And then that chemicals, I should say, and then that kind of transforms him. You know, it makes his skin all white, and and yeah.
I like this version a lot better.
Yeah, exactly. Which is what the director said. He wanted to do a fresh take because just flinging the character into like a tub of chemicals it's just not real.
I think that's the thing nowadays. We want substance to our characters and substance to the stories. And if you'd done that, it would have been like, right, okay, but like now he's like evil. So like falling into acid doesn't suddenly make you evil. And also there's then that whole stigma of, these acid, I mean, I'm getting really deep here, but there's like actual acid attacks and stuff, and then you can't go around being like, oh, people that have had like acid on them like,
turn insane.
Turn evil and insane, yeah.
No,
do you know what I mean?
Not at all. It fucking kills people.
Yeah, so no, this is 100% so much better than that.
Yeah, I agree. And watching, and it's just so much more interesting, because I seen this thing about the director saying that oh no, I'm going blank. Oh no, I'm going so blank.
Whilst you
Yep.
try and refine what you're saying, I want to talk about the use of the makeup and the evolution of the makeup that he uses as Joker, because at the beginning, the very opening scene is him doing his clown makeup. He's working as a clown, gets hired for different events. So I just finished my point and then
I found out what I was gonna say. That's so annoying.
So it's just your basic kind of clown makeup, and he's got this wig with like the bold bit in the middle that's green.
Yeah, it's classic clown. And
I love the way that evolves then into him as he descends into madness, then putting like the process of putting on the makeup becomes more and more sadistic, and then when he dyes his hair green and he like becomes this embodiment right up until the last where he uses the blood from his own mouth to paint on that Joker smile. It was such a small thing, but I just loved the detail and the use of the clown makeup and the evolution of it throughout the film.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
I just had to appreciate it.
Appreciate the makeup department.
We do.
Shout out. Anyway, this is what I wanted to say. So Todd Phillips described Joaquin Phoenix's take on Arthur as a guy who is searching for identity, who mistakenly becomes a symbol. His goal generally is to make people laugh and bring joy to the world. So that makes you think that the whole time he just thinks this is so funny. Like he thinks he's making people happy, and that's all he wants to do. So it's like it paints this new image of he's not trying to be a bad guy. You know,
Yeah.
he doesn't want to be a murderer or anything. He just wants to be funny
Yeah.
and make people laugh, which makes it even more like insane, which I absolutely loved. I it's all I want to talk about is the the scene where he gets on on the talk show,
Oh, that.
which was my favorite. I think everyone seems to talk about the scene when he's on the stairs.
Yes, I can see why.
Yeah, it's really cool, but
It's a cool
and
scene.
I like the way I saw it is because there's scenes of him like struggling to get up the stairs and all that, and then we see him like joyfully come down the stairs because he's descending into madness. Oh, what'd you think of that? That's my fresh take
My take on that scene
on the stairs.
on the stairs.
Right. Okay.
I really love that scene, and it's because this sounds like really weird, but I'm sure people that have suffered mental health before will kind of get me. But there's a moment when, if you are like really depressed or whatever, where you end up just like not caring anymore.
Yeah, been through that.
And so you're at that point where you don't care anymore, so that even when stuff's still going wrong, you actually find stuff like funny because you just like almost can't believe that stuff is still going
You're
wrong.
just laughing at yourself.
Yeah, and you're just laughing at
Yeah.
yourself and you're laughing at the world and you're like, you know what? I don't even care. Like, it's actually funny because like I'm like literally above this now, and that's the vibe that I got from him on the stairs, and it was just done so well because not only did it look funny and it literally does show him kind of like descending into madness, but like I get that vibe of like, and he even says it on the talk show, like how nothing can touch him now.
Yeah, you can't, and nothing can hurt him
And
anymore. Yeah,
and I'm
he's got
like,
nothing to lose.
yeah, and I definitely have resonated with that place before, and it is
Oh
that.
my
That sounds
okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
from a mental health point of view,
100%. You've seen me
Yeah.
go into madness sometimes where I just can't control myself.
yeah,
Like I'll just start laughing at myself, or I say the craziest things, or I start like becoming like a different person.
I feel like everyone. Yeah.
I think people do go through that, and then obviously not for some people, not to that extreme.
No.
But it is.
But
yeah,
I feel like everyone can resonate with that feeling of
I don't care anymore.
fuck it. Yeah,
I'm descending into madness,
I'm
and
just like gonna allow
I'm
it to happen.
untouchable.
Yeah.
There's, it's funny how wrong my life is going right now.
Yeah, and I feel like they just captured that almost sadistically joyful moment within that
Yeah.
madness.
Oh, that's crazy.
I really hope other people listening can relate, because otherwise we're just here like, yep. I know how that feels.
What did you? Before I talk about that scene, what did you think of the laugh?
That laugh
It's crazy.
was mad.
Oh, it's so good.
I really love actors who can. I've spoken about this with like the film Us as well. I love actors that can really play with their voices and that actually are not afraid to go
And
to
Peter
those
Nyong'o, yeah.
yeah,
That's
those
a
extremes.
good example, yeah.
And that laugh was just fantastic.
Do you know what I loved about it? It was a realistic laugh.
Yeah.
It was how do I explain? It was like Heath Ledger's was like a kind of sadistic one, where it was like like he actually like he's like a little child, like
Yeah.
just laughing at you.
Yeah.
And then like Jared Leto's was it felt like really forced. It was like a kind of you know what I mean?
Like the one that we have in our intro.
Yeah, yeah. No,
No.
no, that was a serious laugh. No, of course, yeah, exactly. It's a ridiculous laugh. And then you have this one where it's literally he can't control himself.
Yeah.
It's like you know you see him struggling and he's like choking on it, you know, and I just loved it, you know, because it was really subtle sometimes. Sometimes it was just like a kind of regular laugh, and then
Yeah.
other times you got that really like
There's-
you know, it was I loved it so much. And every time he did it, especially when he was in like crowds and stuff,
Yeah.
because there's like the scenes where he was like in the comedy club, and he kept
Oh.
laughing at really random moments.
Yeah.
So everyone would like the guy would say the punchline of the joke or the build up of the joke. They'll laugh at the funny bits he says, but he would laugh at the most like unfunny bits.
And actually, what I found interesting that kind of foreshadowed the point that he finds different things funny to other people is the fact that everyone would laugh at like the punchline of the joke, and he would like look around and like register that, and then he would laugh
you
a
join
couple of
in?
seconds through
Yeah.
too late. So it was more like I'm laughing because I'm realizing that it's the social thing to laugh at this moment, and not because I'm laughing because I find it funny.
Yeah. He's trying to fit in.
Yeah.
I
Which
like
was interesting because like that makes sense later on where he's talking about how he finds these other things funny that other people in comedy subjective and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There was another thing I was going to say with the laugh is there's a couple of moments where he was like laughing and it kind of zooms out and he's with the therapist
Mm-hmm.
where when that scene first started and he's laughing I
It was
wasn't
the
sure.
intro scene, wasn't it? That was the first scene, wasn't it?
No, was it? I can't remember. No, because the
Oh
first
no,
scene,
no. Yeah, I remember.
it's like the next
It's not
one.
the first scene. Sorry.
But it was that moment where I was like, I'm not actually too sure whether he's laughing, crying, or like both.
Yeah.
Like it's that kind of a laugh where he's like so messed up that he's laughing, but like it does sound a bit like he's like,
Yeah,
like sobbing.
because he can't control it.
Yeah,
So it is kind of like a painful laugh.
it was
Yeah.
just
It was
oh,
awesome.
it was like just so good.
I really liked the laugh. Yeah. So I think this was my favorite. I loved the ending as well. To be fair.
Yeah,
Well, the bit before the ending. So he's finally got his chance to go in his like favorite talk show host, show Murray Franklin, the Murray Franklin show, which is kind of like a Jimmy Fallon, you know, kind of thing. And it was just so good because like at the beginning of the film, he like imagines himself on it, and he's getting all this praise, and he's like, you know,
Yeah.
I love you, kid, you know, and it's so nice. It's like a really touching moment, and then he finally gets on it, but he goes on it because he knows that he's gonna go on it and get made fun of, so he prepares for that
yeah.
because he's gonna kill him, and I it's just so good.
But
And his presence as well, like, you know, he first meets him for the first time in the dressing room, and he's just like, oh, Murray and all that, and and then he's like agent or whatever. It's like, don't call him Murray, it's Mr. Franklin to you, you know, because he's like just so confident because he knows what he's gonna do.
well, because he's rehearsed it. We see him rehearsing.
Yeah, of course.
We see him
He's rehearsed it.
We see him rewinding the tape. He's obviously taped a previous show, and he then lets it run with the intro and the music. And he practiced walking through his curtain and like coming out and like fake shaking hands away to the audience and like giving answers and stuff.
Yeah. But I feel like that was a more like sincere kind of thing.
Yeah, that was definitely more sincere.
Yeah, like he was actually he wanted to perfect him coming on.
Yeah, because you see
didn't
him
wanna make a fool.
rechanging how he's sitting and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And it looked like he was gonna. So maybe originally he was gonna kill himself.
I think so. Because originally when he tells his knock knock joke, the punchline is he pulls out this gun.
Yeah.
And when he's practicing, he fluffs up pulling out his gun, so he like kind of re-practices doing it, and shoots himself. But I think even from that time to the time that he's on the show, he's like, nah, you know what? I'm sticking around.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make the most of what I am.
Like, I never found the scene like tense or whatever, or like suspenseful.
No.
I was just like, I felt like I was in it, you know.
You feel like you're watching it live, and you're
Yeah.
like, wow, like what is going on?
I know, and I was kind of like, I was just so interested. And I was like, oh my, he's on the show and he's got the Joker makeup on. He even tells him to call him Joker, which I loved. I loved that line. He was like, so when you call me out, can you call me Joker? And he's like, and then the agent's like, what's wrong with your real name? And he's like, well, that's what you called me when you first showed my tape. You called me Joker, and then he's like, did I? Oh, I didn't know that. But yeah, I'll call you Joker, which I love. I love how that's how he came up with his name, because like his idol called him a Joker.
I love little bits like that though, where
Yeah.
people get slated for something and they end up using that very thing
Yeah.
to make them big.
Yeah.
But it was like the fact that he then like said, oh, you know, so earlier in the film we see the first kind of sign of him descending was him shooting these guys. He's got a gun.
It was three guys hassling him on a train, and they give him a beating, and then he kills them, all three of them, and they were workers for Thomas Wayne, so the Wayne Enterprise. So that's why it became like a big deal about these murders.
Yeah,
because
the clown face
because
becomes iconic.
Yeah, because Thomas Wayne made it public.
Which is why when he then admits on the show towards the end that it was him who did the murders. Oh, my stomach rumbling. Too much popcorn. But when he said that, I was like sat there thinking, okay, how are they going to play this out? Are they actually going to like play it out as if like, no, he's being dead serious and like whatever?
Or is he gonna
are they going to arrest him?
Yeah.
Yeah, or are they going to like make a joke and be like, oh, he's like clearly just like making a joke or whatever?
Yeah.
So I wasn't entirely sure where they were gonna go with that scene, which I think was what made it so interesting.
It was just the way he just owned it. So he's on the talk show and he's just in it now.
Yeah.
Like he's full Joker. And he's like, come on, Murr, and all that. And it's
Murray.
Murray. I loved it. It's just like, this is it. A good Joker. Once again, we've got another good one in the bag. And it's just so good.
And that moment at the end where he's lying, he's been put on top of the police car.
Yeah, so he got
so he does get arrested, but he's been in the police car and they get crashed into by some of these protests. There's loads of protesters on the street, and they lay him out on this car, and like loads of protests like make a massive crowd around it, and he kind of like wakes up out of like his state of half dead or whatever.
Yeah, he just got ran over.
He like wakes up.
He's in a car crash.
And they're like trying for him to get up, and he gets up and he's like starts doing all his little dance moves and his little twirls, and he like does that paint. That's another scene that I just was like, oh.
So what was your favourite scene? Or your favourite moment in general?
Oh, I don't.
Oh.
Oh,
okay.
The thing is, I can't point to like one favourite scene, but another one that I really liked, that was just a little thing, was when he's getting like told off and stuff by his boss.
Yeah.
In the office, and he is saying about if he can't return the sign, it's going to get docked from his pay. And he just stands there and like starts to grin with the most massive like smile on his face. I just love that because it just shows that beginning of him just at the end of his tether.
Well, yeah, I think it was more of a like he's always been told his whole life to put on a happy face.
Yeah.
And he's just taking it. He's just trying to be happy, and it's like it's like that reoccurring thing. It's like I just want to be happy and I want
Yeah.
to make people happy, but I'm not happy. I'm never
But I
happy.
feel like that again is something that people resonate with. Is stuff keeps happening,
Mhm.
and in the end, you get to that point where you're just trying to put on that brave face, that brave smile,
Yeah.
even though it's the most ridiculous situation.
Mhm.
Yeah, I really love that little moment.
I tell you what, my least favorite thing about the film was
Go on.
his mum. Every time when it was a scene with
Yeah.
him and his mum, I was just kind of like, ugh. You know, it's kind of like it's. I feel like there's a lot of that with like villains, like a boy and his mum and all that. He had to take care of his mum, and I feel like it's kind of cliche, but I was happy he killed her.
I think that's the thing. Like, I think it worked in that sense.
I was like, oh, good, she's gone.
I think it was the contrast of he's caring for his like elderly sick mother.
Well, she was sick because she was mental.
Yeah, but we don't really know that she's mental at that
No, we
point.
just think.
And then
she's
when the
old.
truth kind of comes out,
Yeah.
the contrast then of how you view her and the relationship between them, and then obviously him, he finds out the truth as well and realizes that whole dynamic change.
Yeah.
That was good.
What dynamic change?
Like, so obviously at first, he's caring for her and everything like that, which is,
Okay.
and then
yeah.
all of a sudden, like, his whole world is flipped upside down, and he suddenly realizes he's been living in and looking after.
Yeah.
He's been living a lie, and he's been looking after someone who's been, lying to him his whole life and let him be abused and stuff.
Yeah. Do you know a thing was I never realized because there's this whole thing which is like you check the mail, so I'm expecting a letter from him and all that. I never realized she was talking about Thomas Wayne the whole time.
Oh, did you not?
No, like the whole time. It wasn't until the end, not the end, like later on in the film when she says when when he sees the letter.
Oh.
I never heard her. I never heard once her saying. For some reason, it just went over my head. So it's just weird because I was like, "What is this whole thing about? Someone's gonna give her money and all that." And then there's the moment where he sees the letter that she's gonna send to him, and it says that Arthur's Thomas Wayne's son. And I truly thought that they were gonna go there. Obviously, Thomas Wayne is Bruce Wayne's dad.
Yeah.
And I was like, they can't do that, you know? I was like, they can't make Joker and Batman brothers.
I know, because I was about to be like, oh, wow, that's a whole...
It's a whole other
that's
dynamic.
a whole level.
It's a whole other shooting shebang. But I wasn't a fan, and I was so glad it wasn't true. I was like, oh, thank God. I mean, like, it would be interesting to see, but it's not needed. I like that the fact that the contrast between Batman and Joker is like they're polar opposites, but they're actually kind of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I like. But yeah, that whole, the whole thing with like the side plot with his mum and like Thomas Wayne and all that was probably my least favorite bit. Not to say it was like horrible written. The whole film was a joy to watch.
Mm.
Actually, yeah, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the direction of this film.
Yeah.
The cinematography.
The look and the feel of this film is incredible.
The color grading. You know, it's just so beautiful. Mwah!
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't even know where to begin with it. The shots themselves,
Yeah.
and the use of spacing and the corridors, like at the end, even the very last shot of him walking down the corridor, and there's just he's leaving like the red bloody footprints on the floor.
That was so cool.
do you know what I mean? Like, just little things like that. This film was a feast to watch.
Shout out to Lawrence Sher, the cinematographer of this film.
Good job.
It was it's so good. Some of the shots in this film, like I haven't watched a film in a while. No, I haven't seen a film and a good while where I was just like watching it and I was like, this is such a well shot and beautifully like colored film. I was just so happy. I was like, I'm so glad. Everything about this film is great. The soundtrack, the score, you know, it's just so good. The acting, the characters,
Yeah.
everything about it is just
The writing, yeah.
yeah, it was just on point.
For example, with the writing as well, oh gosh, is it the character Sophie? So his kind of neighbour Sophie that has a little girl.
Yes.
So we think that he ends up having this whole kind of sort of relationship with her.
They have one interaction in the elevator.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the bit that got me, that I thought was odd, is he then follows her and her daughter around for the day.
Yep.
And then she appears at his door and she goes, "Was that you following me today?" And he goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, I thought it was."
Yeah.
And then, rather than acting how any other human being would have acted,
Like,
she's like,
stop fucking following
yeah,
me.
she brushes it off and she's like, "Oh, you're funny." And then he's like, "Oh, you should come and see me do comedy and stuff." And then they go, they have this whole thing.
Mhm. That should have been the first sign.
But
I never clocked on.
So that jarred me because I was like, why on earth? Like because in the way she behaves in the first meeting is how you would kind of, give a little laugh or whatever. But that is kind of
sure.
It is that awkward exchange with someone that you don't really know, but you see.
In the elevator.
Yeah.
Silence.
So when she suddenly
like
comes up
something.
to someone that's then been following her, like after that,
Mhm.
it did jar me, but I kind of forgot about it, and then it wasn't until it was revealed later on that he had been like dreaming basically of this interaction and that they actually hadn't had that apart from the elevator and him following her.
Yeah.
It was something like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, so they'd really cleverly written in that slight thing that jarred, that made it not quite fit, but not enough to make
It's a good hint,
you
isn't
question everything. Yeah.
Definitely.
Which makes me now want to go back and re-watch bits and see, well, is there anything else that doesn't quite fit?
Like that was off.
That was off.
Oh, do you know what? Because another thing that she says is like, with the clown murders thing when he's looking at the newspaper, she was like,
yeah.
"I think that guy's a hero. He should get rid of everyone else in this town, or whatever."
Yeah.
That's kind of another hint. She's praising what he's done.
Yeah.
When a mother probably wouldn't do that.
No.
But yeah, the way the review was just spot on. Like he walks into her apartment,
Yeah.
which I thought was weird. Anyway, I was like, oh no, he's actually just walking in. This is creepy. He's like touching everything, like really aggressively. And then he's sitting on the couch. She puts her daughter to bed, and then she walks out and sees him, and she gets a fright.
Yeah.
And obviously you're expecting her to go, "Oh, Arthur, it's just you. What are you doing in here?" But then she's like, "Who are you?" and all that.
And
What are you doing in my house?
Your name's Arthur, isn't it?
Yeah, you're in the wrong apartment. You're from down the hall, aren't you? Your name's Arthur.
Is there anyone I can call for you? Blah, blah, blah.
What, call your mother and all that? And I was just like, oh my god, what a twist. And then it does like all the flashbacks of like their moments together, and then actually he's just on his own.
I know.
And I just thought that was mental. I was like, oh, that's such a nice little twist.
And then you would then understand the mother.
Do you think he killed her?
No. I was reading something about that.
Yeah.
But apparently what they're saying is, although it's left ambiguous, the idea is he's only really getting rid of people that have done him wrong, really, as it were. And she hasn't.
But she doesn't know who he is. He obviously wants.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think he's too fond of her.
Yeah, that
And I
may be
think
true.
when he comes to that realization that nothing that happened between them actually happened.
He still doesn't exist.
I don't think I think that's more him acknowledging, oh, I'm the same as my mother had been, imagining stuff. But I don't think he necessarily harbours bad feelings towards her personally because she hasn't done anything to him.
Yeah. I was so glad he killed that guy. Who was the other clown.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, that scene was quite funny actually.
do you know how that way it was like I laughed, but I was also kind of like, oh my god, I should not laugh at
Yeah,
this.
I know. Oh.
So so essentially, the scene is. Let me break down the scene for you. The scene is.
I wish you could see him right now because he's like lounging back with his leg up. Like, let me set the scene.
Let me paint you a little picture here. A little word picture. Anyway, so the scene is Arthur's putting on his Joker makeup for the first time. He's not finished yet, but there's a knock at the door, and he goes to answer the door, and it's his two old colleagues, as it were, from the clown place, like the clown hire place, I would say. I don't know what it was actually called.
The clown hire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the clown hire. I would say, yeah. And so it's this big burly dude. And then
there's a guy with dwarfism
yeah,
as well.
Exactly. And he comes in, and he's kind of the reason that Arthur got fired. Kinda.
Yeah, the big guy, yeah.
Yeah, kinda. You know, like, he didn't do anything wrong. He gave him a gun to protect himself, and then he brought it to a kid. That was bro.
That was funny as well.
That was funny.
They're in the middle of doing a
yeah, he's doing like a really nice show for the kids and all that. You know, if you're happy and you know it, wiggle your ears. You know.
And then they do stomp your feet, and this gun clatters on the floor. And he's like, "Oopsie, oopsie."
No, he screams like, "Ah!" He tries to pick it up. Then he picks it up, and he's just kind of like, "Shh," you know, like you didn't see anything. And then that's what gets him fired. But I think Arthur is shifting the blame on him.
Yeah.
You know. Because he does that in another scene where he's like, oh, thank you for the gun and all that. I still owe you for that. And so the way he repays him is by getting a pair of... what are those scissors called? What are they for? Like the long, thin ones.
Are they... They're not nail scissors.
They might be.
Are they for hair?
I don't think so.
I feel like they're hair... dresser scissors.
Are they?
I don't know. They're a pair
it's
of
like
sleek scissors.
they're long, but it's like got a short blade. I thought they might have been like for your eyelashes, or something. No.
No.
Okay.
I don't know anyone that cuts their
Anyway,
eyelashes.
he stabs him right in the face, in the eye, with these scissors, and then brutally beats him to death. And then there's just this other guy, the dwarf, and he's just awkwardly there
in the corner.
and then like
oh
Arthur's just kind of lying there with the body, and he's like, oh, he's like, and he's like an English, it's just so funny because then Arthur's like, do you watch the Murray show, like
yeah.
And he's like, yeah. He's like, wow, I'm going to be on the TV.
Yeah.
In it. It's just so weird. He's like, oh, you can go, by the way. I'm not going to hurt you. You've been really nice to me. You can go.
But we're all, as an audience, you're still there like, is he actually?
I know. And then he tries to open the door. And it's horrible because you're like, oh no, I really shouldn't laugh.
Basically, when they came in, Arthur let them in, he put the latch on the door.
Yeah.
So this poor guy can't reach the latch to undo it to get out.
And he's like,
so he has to like
freaking out, and he's
turn
like,
around to Arthur, who's just murdered his friend, and be like, "Can you unlock?
Can you unlock the door for me?" And he's just like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, man." You know, he's like, "You've been
he's
really
like
nice
so
to me."
genuine as well.
Yeah, he's like, "You've always been kind to me." And he kisses him on the head, and he's like, "Right, get out of here." He just runs out, and it's just so funny. But I was also kind of like, "Yeah, nice one." I don't know what it is. I love a good villain. You know, I love rooting for the villain sometimes. It's just, and I was really rooting for him because he kind of deserves. You know, like people have it coming to them now.
Yeah.
You know, people are horrible to him.
I think that's the thing that's a bit funny with these kind of films. Is obviously you know that stuff is wrong, but there is a part of you that really
You're like,
roots for
yes,
that
yes.
character, and you're like, oh yes, they finally got their own back. Like when he, finally stands, because we've seen him see him getting beaten up previously to the time when he gets beaten up and he ends up shooting the guys, and
Yeah.
it's at that point where he shoots them where you're like, oh, he's finally standing up for himself, like he's actually doing something about it.
Self-defense as well.
Yeah. Which obviously, I don't condone murder,
I do in this situation.
but you like,
Fuck those guys, man.
but you're
They're
like, but
assholes.
exactly, you're just like, well,
Yeah,
he's
like
standing up for himself.
these
This
are
time he's
they
not
were
gonna
like
get...
abusing a woman. Well, not abusing her, harassing a woman.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, shot right in the head. But yeah, and then he shoots Murray, which I forgot to mention.
Oh yeah.
Which is great. It was a
So
good
Murray
build up.
gets shot, yeah.
So you're getting what you deserve. Bang. Then it's all over the news.
But what I like about that is he shoots him in the head, and then he gives it a moment, stands up, and then shoots him again, even though it's like
Yeah,
been
and then he's like-
established
and then he
for a
does his
few
little-
moments that he is
He
dead.
does his little dance,
Yeah.
his little clown dance. So good. I could just go on and on about this film. And it's like, I love little details like that. Because when I was talking about, like, do you think he killed his neighbor? It's because it's a similar shot. See, when he walks out, it's kind of similar shot to the ending. When he walks out of that and he's just walking, but this time we see the blood on his shoes.
Interesting.
Yeah, you see?
But I still don't think he did.
He probably didn't.
I think he's at that point he's still fighting against the people that are pushing him and
Mhm.
people like him down, not the people that are like him.
Oh, and also it sets up the ending just before the ending. It sets up Batman as well.
Yes, it does.
So it's the same thing. It's the same origin story where the Waynes come out of a really bad show, and this time it was like Gay Zorro or something like that. Did you notice the title? Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if that's meant in like the way that they would have used the word
All right.
back in that time though.
I know.
So when is it set?
I don't know.
Is it the 30?
No,
No.
can it be? Because there was no.
It was
there's-
Chaplin. There was Chaplin showing, wasn't there?
Oh
earlier.
yeah, there was Chaplin. So maybe it is the 20s or the 30s.
I should know this. I've like studied Chaplin.
It would be the 30s, wouldn't it? Oh, that's a really good point. That's really early.
Well, this is the thing because I saw a tweet.
Well,
the other
there
day.
was like colored TVs everywhere. But
Okay, I have to search this because.
but
I'm
you are right though, because it was showing Charlie Chaplin Modern Times. So if you get up the release date for Modern Times, that would be our release date. But I was really confused about when it was actually set. I was
Yeah, 1936.
so yeah, okay, interesting. But yeah, it's the same thing, and then but this time it's kind of influenced by Joker, the death of Martha and Thomas Wayne.
Yeah.
But it's the same setup. Like, guy follows them into an alley after they've came out of a really bad theater show, and then yeah,
But he has the face
sticks
mask
them up.
on.
He has
Everyone has these.
he has the clown
clown
mask,
masks.
and then he shoots them both. Rips the pearls off her, and then all that's left is Bruce standing there. So it's a nice setup.
Brutal.
So I begging for a sequel, because now Joker's in Arkham Asylum, which that was another thing when he went there to find out if his mother was in Arkham. He was like, what does it take to get in here? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I kind of like that because then
And then
he's
he
kind of
sta-
like, yeah, I could be in here.
Yeah, because
I feel comfortable in here.
he starts admitting
He's like, I've done
to the
some bad
administrator
things.
guy that he's done some bad things with him, and the guy's like,
I'm just dealing with fails, man.
if you need someone to talk to, there are people out
Please, you should talk to someone, please.
And he's like, but all the budget cuts, they've cut them all. And he's like,
Oh yeah, he
okay.
does. Like,
There are just so many good moments. Like, there's some funny moments, and then there's some moments where you're like, wow, this is really deep.
I know. I didn't really laugh as much as I didn't really find it as funny until that one scene. But I think I was just so into it that I don't know. I was happy the whole way through. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is just a really good film.
Because I saw someone comment saying they got bored. Sorry, my stomach is still like from popcorn. Someone said they were like getting bored, and I was like, well,
Who?
I just like online,
Oh right.
and I was like, well,
It's a build up.
it's a build up, it's a story. It's not one of those films.
I think the
that you-
pace. Sorry.
I was gonna say it's not one of those films you get nowadays. So they just throw a whole load of action at you and hope to like keep you pacified for the 2 hours or whatever. It's got an actual substantial storyline that you have to pay attention to, and well, I wasn't bored.
You are so right. You hit the nail on the head, Emily. That is a brilliant way to put it. Well done.
Thank you. It sounds so sarcastic.
No, I'm so honest. That was fantastic. I totally agree. It was so refreshing to get an actual backstory and plot.
Yeah.
There was actual plot, and I loved it. And the build-up was brilliant. You can't just all of a sudden have a 15-minute build-up and then all of a sudden the whole movie's him, the Joker. It's
Yeah,
the
I know.
build-up to Joker, and the pacing was fantastic. I loved every quiet moment and
Oh yeah.
slow moment. There's a scene where he's literally just listening to his answer machine, and then he walks into his fridge, and I was
Yeah,
like,
he literally
Yeah,
walks into
yeah.
the fridge.
and I'm like, brilliant. That's a man going crazy. He's trying to
Yes.
isolate himself.
Chucks everything on the floor and climbs in.
Yeah, I want to do that. In the
I
summer.
thought he was like trying to kill himself because I was like, surely. I remember being a kid and being told. I don't know why I was told this, but like, never get in the fridge because you'll like suffocate and die.
What?
Because you get sealed in, so they're like, never
No!
get in the fridge.
It's not like vacuum sealed.
Why was I told this as a child?
I don't know, mate.
So I thought
Were
it-
you so eager to get into the fridge?
No.
Anyway,
So, like, when he climbed in, I was like, oh my god, is he trying to like kill himself?
he's gonna kill himself.
By fridge, can you imagine?
Emily, what would you give Joker out of 5?
I would give 5 creepy laughs out of 5.
Full 5.
A full
Is that
5.
our first 5? No, it's not.
What was our first 5?
Stranger Things season 1.
Interesting.
It's our first movie. 5.
It is.
Wow.
5 out of 5 for the acting, the cinematography, the writing, everything. I really can't fault this film, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah. I'd give it a 5. I think. You know, it's not like 100%. But yeah, definitely. It's just a nice, refreshing comic book film where
You forget it's a comic book film.
you
though.
do, which is amazing. It doesn't have like that stamp. You know, it doesn't have. You know how when like a Marvel film starts, it will be like Marvel Studios, and usually DC will have the DC logo pop up. This one didn't, because they didn't need to. You know,
No.
it's its own thing, and I absolutely loved it. It's just a great piece of filmmaking, and yeah, I can't fault it either. You know, I wasn't a fan of the mom character, but it was, to be fair, Arthur wasn't in the end as well, so maybe I was just relating, and no one else liked her because she was crazy. So it's obviously the point. I don't think you are meant to sympathise with her. 'Cause she was an awful mother as well, from what we hear. But yeah, absolutely love this film. But thank you so much for listening.
Please go and watch this film.
Yeah.
I understand why everyone's been absolutely raving about it.
Yeah. I'm just annoyed we never saw it sooner.
I know.
I wish we were there for the hype of the film, but we were busy. Stupid holidays.
Stupid having travel time.
Yeah, no. But thank you so much for listening. Please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, like us on Facebook at the Make Do Review, where we post updates and just things that we're up to. Anything else to say, Emily?
My stomach. Oh my god.
Right.
Don't eat too much popcorn.
Right.
This is a public announcement not to eat too much popcorn when you're at the cinema.
There's never enough popcorn for me.
Oh god.
Yeah. This has been the Make Do Review, and that will do.
That will do.